Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to show you how to use the Pentax 17. This is a brand new film camera released in 2024, and this camera shoots 35mm film just like the one I have here, and it shoots half frame. What does that mean is instead of the traditional 35mm frame, which is kind of landscape, it shoots vertical half frames, so half the shot. So you're getting around 24x17mm of film exposed. This gives you the double amount of frames. So if you're shooting a roll of 36, like this one, you can see this one says 36 here. It'll give you 72 pictures. If you're shooting a roll of 24, it'll give you 48. So you're kind of like saving money on film by shooting smaller images. So this camera comes out of the box with a lens cap and a little lanyard, and it's already installed. And it does have a space for a battery. It does need battery to operate. So to take out this battery, you will need a coin, which I don't have. So now we have a coin. And you have to turn this anti-clockwise. One thing to mind about this camera is this thing will fall out and disappear. I wish the Pentax would have included more than one, because as you can see, it just falls off. And then this has a little hingey movement and it comes out. It uses a CR2 battery, which is here. And you can see that it uses the positive towards the bottom part and the negative towards the top. So you can actually see it in there. So let's reinstall the battery. Like I said, this has a bit of a hinge mechanism. So you want to like slide it in. You don't go like this. You have to kind of like hinge it and then give it a bit of a turn. And let's go back to that screw that we've lost 3 times already, and we put it back in. I have to thank Pentax for that design flaw, if you ask me. We twist and turn, and now that is the camera has a battery. So we're gonna go like by bits because this camera has quite a little few things as small as it is. And if you want to see the size, it's literally the size of my hand. And here we have a Rolly 35, which is kind of be the competition of this camera soon enough. But now we have this Pentax half frame. So let's start with the front. We have a HD Pentax lens HF, 25mm f3.5, traditional 40.5 filter thread. And you can see the light meter is actually inside the filter area. So if you add a filter for black and white or anything like that, neutral density, it will meter properly, which is really cool. It has a flash, it has the naming, Pentax 17, it has the viewfinder, and not much else is going on the front. Then we have the lens markings. So these are the distances. This lens is not AF, it doesn't focus on its own. It has to be focused by you telling it, sort of a scale, and it has multiple scales. So it has 1 zone, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one's 25 centimeters, 0.5 centimeters, 25 centimeters, 50 centimeters, 1.2 meters, 1.7 meters, 3 meters, and infinity. And then we have it in feet for those people that don't know how to do centimeters. And on the top, we have even a more simple version for those that can't even do centimeters or feet. They can only do flowers, lunch, selfies, 2 people, family of 1 kid, and mountains. So that is the way. And you can see this by the little mark there. So that's all on the front. So let's go to the top. Lots going on there. First of all, we have our ISO dial here. So to change it, we have to press this button down and then turn our ISO. So it has 50, 100, 125, 160, that's those intermediate dots, 200, 400, 800, 1600, and 3200. But it has a bit of a hack. You also have over and under exposure. So you could theoretically go beyond this point or intermediate points by hacking the light meter with the over and under exposure. So this is overexposure by 1/3, 2/3, 1 stop, 1 1/3, 1/6, 2. And the same thing going to negative. So you can underexpose depending on what you're shooting. You have the branding, Pentax. I don't know what that little logo on the top is, to be honest. I'm not that big of a Pentax fan. Craftsmanship by Pentax, and it says film camera, just in case you had doubts. And this is the film distance indicator. So this is where the film actually is. If you ever want to shoot super macro or you're measuring those 25 centimeters, you measure from this little indicator. That's what it means. On this side, we have the mode dial. So I found it confusing at first, but let's say, first of all, the white ones are all non-flash. So B for bulb, bokeh for aperture open as a priority. So f3.5, it's going to try to push that as hard as it can. Night mode, P as in program, auto, which it does whatever it wants. P, this is flash mode, the yellow one. Night with flash, and this looks like the flash mode, but it actually is not, but it does still shoot the flash, and I can show you by shooting with a flash. So you should have it on the night mode or on the P for flash. So then, as you see, I have the on off, and there's a bit of a red dot there to indicate off there and on there. Then the advance lever, as you can see there, it just took a picture, so you can advance, also for winding the film. And then we have the film counter on the side here. That's really hard to see. I'll try to get a detailed shot of that. And then we have strap lugs on the side. So small strap lugs or ones with little metal rings, O-rings, will go in here like the keychain ones. Then we continue. This is the little frame counter indicator, this little line here. And we go to the back. We have the viewfinder with a bunch of signs. It has a little bit like colored ones, like blinking orange, and then there's a blue indicator too. I think that's in the normal program. If it's too dark, it'll do blue, you see. And then we have the film reminder. This is if you're shooting different film stocks and you want to remember, you can use the piece of film canister box to put in there, or like my co-worker did, you can put Portra 400 on it and just do that. Just a film reminder. This is kind of fake leatherette. Front is also some sort of like leatherette texture. This one actually looks like kind of realistic leatherette. It does have like a little smushiness to it. And we have the hinge for the film door that opens through the top. I'll show you that in a minute. This is a 2.5 port for a cable switch terminal used when connecting the optional cable switch CS205, reading out of the manual. And then we have frame lines inside the camera. And you can see through a Judas window the indicator here. It just has a little peephole that shows you what's in there. And then to open the film camera, let's go into our, oh wait, forgot the bottom. Tripod screw, very important. Serial number, it's upside down. Let me put it right side up. Then we have a scratch that was done by us using it. Then we have some information of when it's made and so on and so forth, made in Vietnam. And film rewind button, which you press when you finish your roll, and it kind of stays in until you advance the film. There you go, it popped out all the way. Now it's super popped. And that's basically all there is as what the camera has. Like I said, flash. So let's go ahead and show you how to use it. Simplest is the battery installation, which you just saw. Second of all, we would need a roll of film. For that, we can pop this open, pull it out like a traditional film camera, a little bit extra. You saw that the hinge open. Let me show you that when I do it like this. There it goes. Inside the film camera, we have where the canister goes, and you can see that this little thing goes in, so you can throw your canister in. No DX code reading, so that's why you have your film indicator, ISO on the top. The very, very little small half frame, as you can see, this is all plastic. Then we have the advance mechanism. You can see how it spins there. And it has a little red indicator. This is the pressure plate. It has a little foam to keep the roll in its place and a little bit of a tension for the film to advance properly. So let's go ahead and load a roll of film. So we have a Ilford Hp5 classic film. You throw it in there. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. It does work well, but it feels a little tight sometimes. And you put that down, and then you can pull it out. And now it's already engaged there, but we don't want it engaged there. So pull it out a little bit, put it somewhere there. And with this, all we have to do is close the door, have the camera on, take some duds, basically. 1, 2, 3. And notice that this is turning too. That's very important. That means the film is traveling from this side to this side. And on the side, we should look out for the first frame indicator, which is not so easy to see. I find the indicator to be quite small for my liking. And it also is very, very wanting you to do a lot. I start shooting after 3-4 frames. And if you get the first of the roll, then you got lucky. And if you don't, well, at least you didn't lose any important shots. So that is now on. And this camera is ready to be used. As you see, the little film advance kind of holds the camera, and the grip which holds the battery is very comfortable. For focusing, you have to use those indicators. So like I said, mount is infinity. This is 3 meters, 1.7 meters, 1.2 meters, 50 centimeters, and 25 centimeters. And you kind of get the hang of it while you're shooting, but that's what I would recommend. Don't forget to set your ISO. In this case, it's 400 film, so we're going to keep it there. We're not pushing or pulling the film. And now we're ready to go shoot. The viewfinder is not showing you anything focused but the little indicator, so remember that it's not focusing on its own. It does have a little bit of quirkiness to it, so let me show you something interesting. You see the lens is quite in there. It's kind of hiding. You half press, it stays in its position. And then I take the picture, it goes back to the position. So if I have it, for example, one person, if I half press it, it stays there, and then I shoot if it wants to. Oh, I have to advance. And there we go. So that is how you operate the camera. Let's go into the programs and what do they do. I missed another strap lug. It has a little strap lug here so you can suspend your camera vertically. That's kind of cool. And supposedly this goes on the bottom. So we got that wrong when we set it up the first time. So into the modes. We're going to start with auto. And auto is full automatic. It chooses the aperture, and the focus is auto flash. So if it needs flash, it will use it. Let's trick it out. There we go. Now I felt the flash. So auto will do auto flash, and focus is fixed. It's fixed around 1 meter to infinity. So it won't be shooting the 0.5 and 0.25. It can only do the longer focus distance. Then we go to P, which is what they call standard or program. So exposure is program and the flash is off. And the focus is set with the dial on the front. Then we go to the night mode, or what I called night mode. They call slow speed shutter, which is basically slow speed program. So it will shoot if there's poor conditions, kind of like probably stops down the lens and so forth. Flash is off and the focus is again with this. Then we have bokeh, which is maximum aperture priority, trying to keep that lens open at 3.5, and we can actually try to see if we can see that in the image. That didn't look wide open, but okay. I guess it goes within the limitations of the amount of light, and there's so much light right now. Let's try to fake it with the ISO. Let's go for like ISO 50. And we want to underexpose a ton. See if it'll shoot wide open. Nope, same aperture. Interesting. I guess that does what it wants to do. And let's put this back to 400. So then after that we have bulb, which is maximum aperture bulb. So it will shoot at the smallest aperture and do bulb setting, no flash and focus with this. Then we go to the flash modes, which the little flash doesn't make anything, even though I felt like it did. We have the flash with slow speed sync, so slow speed program. Flash is on, and you can see the LED in orange. It stays orange when the flash is shot. And when you're loading, it does that blinking. And you set the focus with the front dial. And then you have the last one being the daylight sync program with flash on, which is this P, and then focus is done with this, and if we shoot, it should flash. There we go. Oh, and bulb, the actual aperture is fixed to 3.5, so let's see about that bulb. Oh, we can see it. We can see the aperture there, open. We're shooting a long exposure. And bulb will hold as long as I have the shutter down. And that's where this cable release switch will, or port will be handy if you're putting it on a tripod. You can actually go ahead and shoot and keep it open as long as you want, do some cool stuff. So let's go into the LEDs, which was not in the manual. So please go to the link below and find the manual. The LEDs are these top ones here, and the viewfinder kind of can see them when your eye is against it. So you have the top one and the bottom one. Top one's orange, bottom one's blue. So blinking quickly when you turn it on means the dead battery. So orange quickly and blue quickly means dead battery. So shooting is not going to happen. We don't have a dead battery, so we can't show you that. When we turn on the camera, if the blue blinking quickly, lens cap warning on. So let's do this. Let's put the camera against the table and turn it on. And that is letting us know that something's wrong. Let's do that again with my hand. There we go, the blinking fast. That means that you left your lens cap on. I don't use lens caps, so maybe that's a problem you will have. Then we have warnings when the shutter release is pressed halfway. The button release does have two options, like pressing all the way, takes a picture, but also pressing a little bit activates the focusing. As you can see, the prefixed focusing, because you can fix it with the front or the back. The best one's the flower because it goes all the way to the front. But it does have a motor in there. You can hear it. So when the shutter is released, pressed halfway. So blinking quickly, orange and blue, dead battery warning, or film not completely advanced. So let's do that. Took a picture, and now we press again, and we have a little party. That means we haven't advanced. So we have to advance, or we have no battery. If the blue is blinking quickly, exposure warning, probably too much exposure or too low exposure. So blinking quickly on the blue one when you have press means exposure warning. No warning is indicated for bulb exposure or when flash charging is complete. Then we have blinking slowly on the blue, shooting range, close-up, tabletop, something warning. So let's go to the tabletop ones. And that's letting us know we're in the close-up mode. Remember, auto doesn't let you do that, so it won't let you know, but the flash ones will. And you can see it's a low latency. Then we have when the flash is on, so we're in the flash mode now. If it's blinking slowly, it means it's charging, and if it's lit, it means it's charged. Let's shoot. And you can see now that it's blinking, 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 telling us that. So there we go. That is basically the flash photography. Let's go into the viewfinder. So through the viewfinder, you can actually see some external bigger frame lines, which are hard to see with my phone. Those are basically making sure that you're shooting the subject correctly. And when you're in close-up mode, you see a smaller frame lines, which show you that you're on the tabletop mode or the macro mode. So you have to. And then, like I said, through the viewfinder, you can also see the little flower, which is on the bottom there on the center. And that is telling you where your focus is set. You have no other indicators except for the little light LED here, as you can see when you have your eye there. So you do see it, but nothing else through the viewfinder. No focus confirmation, nothing like that. Just basically frame lines that are static. They don't change depending on your focus. You just have to know what they mean when you're shooting. One cool thing about the strap that they included, this little very cheap looking strap, is that it actually is exactly the distance for macro mode. So this is 25 centimeters from the film plane, and I brought my trustworthy measuring tape. And if we go here, it's exactly 25 centimeters to the tip, if you can look there. So put whatever you're trying to shoot there in the middle, and you can shoot. Remember to use the small frame lines, and you're good for macro shots. Then when we finish our roll, which should be 72 shots, but it's not there yet. But if we want to rewind, I'll show you right now how to do it. First of all, you don't need to have the camera on or anything like that. You have to press this button on the bottom. So let's press it and then lift this little side here. And don't open it all the way or you'll expose all your film. You have to turn in the direction of the arrow, which is clockwise. So let's turn clockwise and we'll hear a snap, and I'm actually going to keep it there so I can reuse this roll, but you should wind it all the way when you are done. So now I'm feeling the tension. There. Now I know the film is basically here. So let's pop it open. As you can see, the roll is there and we can pull it out. Remember to keep this up. And then this, if you want to send it to your lab, you would put it all the way in. I'm not, because I'm going to reuse it for another video. But that's how you finish your roll and send it to the lab. Load another roll, close it again. Remember to set your ISO to the right thing, which I had changed multiple times throughout the video, but the ISO shouldn't be changed for the roll. Once you commit to an ISO, keep it there and enjoy. So yeah, that's how you use the Pentax 17. I hope this was helpful. It's a new film camera. The manual is going to be in the link below, because they are sending the manual with some things missing, like the LEDs, at least the one I got. This is probably before release. But yeah, that's a new film camera, shoots half frame. It's really fun to use. Very simple. Actually, you get the hang of it very fast, and I even enjoyed it considering that I use more technical high-end cameras. But I think this will work very well in the market. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. Bye.